I'm Rebecca Gordon.
Hi, I'm Sylvia Gordon. I'm still working.
And she's still working. And on this week's edition of the Weekly Wednesday Wrap-Up, we're going to talk about...
I'm ready. We're going to talk about a bill pending in Congress to help your Medicare supplement clients. We're going to talk about call centers.
Hallelujah.
We're going to talk about lots. Other stuff.
Stay tuned. All right, so as the wise one said, we waited 9 years for OAP to come back. Is that correct?
8 years.
I round up.
Took 8 years for us to get OEP back. Thank you, NAHU, and everybody that pays their NAHU dues. And if you don't pay, you freeloaders out there,
Freeload, you're part of the problem.
need to pay because there's a lot of people working behind the scenes constantly to fix things for us. And right now, there is a bill pending in Congress to fix this stupid debacle that came about in 2008 with Obamacare, which means doctors, hospitals, it wasn't the doctor, it was the hospitals that keep people in a hospital
Not
for
admitting
two to
them.
5 to 6 to 7 days under observation.
Under observation. So when she brought this up, we were going to cover this today. I said, I feel like we've been talking about this for years. And she said, we have.
We've talked about it for years and years, and they came up with the moon rule and the tune midnight rule, and they came up with the notice rule, and they've come up with all this stuff, and nothing fixed anything. People still,
Except clients were getting...
don't get their 90-day skilled nursing care that you as an agent told them they would be able to get on their Medicare supplement if they were hospitalized and admitted for 3 continuous overnight stays, which they were, in their opinion, because they have the hospital bracelet and the gown, and they were in the hospital, but they're not getting that benefit, which is costing the average person over $5,000, and they're mad at you because you lied to them.
So thank God that the bill is being
back
reviewed
up there
right
again.
now.
There's an Operation Shout to call your Congress representatives. Get people to pass this bill. This is ridiculous.
These are your clients, potentially your parents, siblings that are going to get caught in this. And this is a big deal. This is one of those gotchas.
These make the clients mad, and this makes the agent look bad.
Yeah.
So let's talk about people that are under 65 that want a Medicare supplement.
Well, we know that there's something wrong with them, right? Because if they're under 65... they're looking for...
They're on disability.
They're on a disability.
They're sick. They can't work.
So what happens is we have these wonderful quoters, and we have a fantastic, robust quoter on our site. You go in, and it pulls up these plans. And so I, as an agent, I'm going to look for the best price, and I enroll. And then I'm not happy when I get my commission check, because a lot of these don't pay commission.
First of all, this shows only half the states even have a plan. Okay, so you're familiar typically with if your state has a plan or not. But those of you that have a lot of non-resident licenses, you get caught in this mess that you don't know the law in the next state.
Right.
But you pull up the quoter and it shows they have a plan. Boom, boom, you sell it, you're done. But you don't get paid with most states. Now, Florida required that the carriers have to pay you, and they have to pay you the same commission as an over 65 med sup.
Thank you, Florida.
Yeah, so Florida costs a lot because of that. Okay, so
That's true.
There you go. So this shows you California. They do require you sell it to people under 65 on Medicare unless they have end-stage renal disease. And that's the same with Vermont and Massachusetts. And it's all over the board what people do. Some only sell Plan A, which is useless. Nobody's going to buy it.
Right.
And it might cost $500, which nobody's going to buy it.
How can an agent find out if the plan in their state does pay or in another state pays commission?
The only comprehensive way I know to do it is to call your FMO. Call your FMO or call the carrier, because I wish it said so on the quoter. When this would be something CSG should do.
Right.
If you're going to sell a non-commissionable plan, we should know when we're working for free.
Absolutely.
Right? Because you guys sell it, then you call us and you're like, hey, I haven't found my money, and we're trying to track it down. There is no money to track down. Whereas if you sold Med Advantage,
you'd be paid.
You get paid. So in most cases, we prefer to put people on Med Advantage anyway, because it's got more bells and whistles. But depending on their health, a Med Sup might be a better option if it's available with the full slate of plans, and you can get paid. Now, I know a lot of agents say, I don't care if I can get paid or not. If they don't have a commission, they don't want you to sell it.
Right.
So this is the part that's hard to get through to agents.
Yeah.
They're like, I don't care if I get paid. I do what's right by my clients. Right. If you don't do what's right by the company, they will terminate you. Okay?
It's a nice balancing act.
So if you sell a bunch of policies that are non-commissionable,
Right.
you're playing with your contract.
Right.
Because it's very quiet, but people just get that do not recontract, that termination notice, because they don't want your business anymore. So take the hint.
Mm-hmm.
If any policy, Med Advantage, Med Sup, Part D, is non-commissionable, don't sell it. Okay? You have been warned.
You have been
because
warned.
we see it on the back end, and we're not allowed to explain it to you.
Right.
We're not allowed to say why you got terminated.
We're just giving you some good old-fashioned
Giving you
advice.
some head ups, okay?
Little advice.
Hospital at home.
Oh, God, I've heard a lot about this. You know, especially with all the overcrowding last year. Is my phone going off? With COVID, people not able to get in. Hospital at home, we heard this term a lot. It was a lot of like telemedicine.
I mean, it's telemedicine and internet, but the carriers are a big proponent of it because it's way cheaper, right?
Way cheaper.
The hospitals, when they're overcrowded, they're a real big proponent, but otherwise they need people in beds. They can't pay their bills without admissions. So it's like everything. It's a give and take. We're all just reeling from what happened with COVID. You know, because the insurance carriers, it's hilarious to look at their loss ratio data. So nobody went to the doctor for months. So the insurance companies made huge bank, right?
Right.
Because nobody would go. I mean, I had that frozen shoulder. I was dying, and I could not go for months. And they're like, well, why didn't you do visit? Why?
Right.
Because we were locked in our houses. Why? I had to wait. So they saved all that money. Well, that's all going to come back because those people, unless they pass, those people still need the knee and they still need the hip, and I still needed my frozen shoulder, which look at me now.
Look at that.
Almost straight.
It's thawed.
Over 1 year. But it's been a fascinating ride.
But you know, I'll say, this was interesting because I don't want to say I was a naysayer of telehealth, but kind of I was. And then when I had to use it, had to use it for my kids, I loved it. I loved it.
If you've used it, will you put your experience in the comments? Because one of our friends just used it today, and he raving about it. He couldn't get in with a doctor here, so he got in with a doctor God knows where.
It's fantastic.
And it was wonderful.
Yeah.
Because, you know, a lot of times it's a month or two wait for a doctor.
Oh, my gosh. Easily.
And mine, it was take forever to get in with my doctor. Well, by the time it was in, I had to be at a seminar in Florida.
Well, and I'll say...
So I just did it from Florida.
On previous episodes, we were talking about how people aren't going back to work, right? So we're seeing that with doctors now. So when you talk about a month to 2 months out for appointments, I've seen 3 to 4 months because they're so far behind because they don't have the staff because people aren't coming back to work.
Right.
So that is just crushing any type of new patient type of care, whereas we were able to do telemedicine, telehealth, and boom, it went a lot faster and smoother. So
if you guys are finding these videos helpful, we beg you to please hit the share button, the little arrow, and share it with another agent, because we're having agents all the time. They're like, this training is so good. The live training we do or the individual training, I'm like, we do this every week on the video. They're like, oh, I didn't know that. I know. We've been doing this for like years. So share it with somebody that doesn't know we're out here, because this stuff is easy to put on your phone when you walk your dog and stay up to date. We wrap up what happens every Wednesday with our Wednesday wrap up.
Wah, wah, wah.
Thanks for watching.
Good selling.